Witchcraft. Just saying the word conjures up images of broomsticks, bubbling cauldrons, and whispered incantations under a full moon. Maybe you're thinking of Halloween costumes or wondering if there's a spell to make your ex regret their life choices. But witchcraft is so much more than its pop culture cliches. It's a spiritual tradition deeply rooted in nature, personal growth, and responsibility. At the core of this misunderstood practice is a rule so simple, yet so profound, it might just change the way you see the world. And no, it's not about turning people into toads. It's the Wiccan Rede, a kind of ethical compass for modern witches. What is this mysterious principle? Why does it matter so much to those who follow the craft? And, honestly, what can it teach the rest of us? Stick around, we're about to uncover the magic behind the myth. The Wiccan Rede is a moral statement that reads, "And it harm none, do what ye will." Sounds like something your Shakespearean grandma might say right after serving tea brewed from her herb garden, doesn't it? But if you strip away the poetic lingo, it's surprisingly modern. If it harms no one, do what you want. Simple, right? Well, not quite. Hold on to your broomstick, because behind those 8 words is a whole philosophy that's part ethical code, part spiritual guide, and all about living a life that's as harmonious as a perfectly tuned crystal bowl. Let's start with the basics. The Rede gained prominence in the mid-20th century, courtesy of Gerald Gardner, the so-called father of modern Wicca. Gardner blended influences like a magical smoothie, ancient paganism, ceremonial magic, a sprinkle of theosophy, and just enough Victorian flair to keep things delightfully dramatic. He presented the Rede not as a hard and fast rulebook but as a guiding principle, emphasizing personal freedom balanced with accountability. The Rede isn't about policing your every move. It's not the spiritual equivalent of a no running by the pool sign. Instead, it's more like the gentle wisdom of a really chill mentor who says, "Hey, think about the ripple effect." Because everything you do sends energy outward, just like tossing a pebble into a still pond. Every spell you cast, word you speak, or decision you make has consequences, both seen and unseen. And the Rede? It's the reminder to consider all of those ripples. This philosophy is especially powerful in a world that often feels like it's spinning out of balance. It encourages practitioners to align their actions with nature's rhythms and to cultivate respect for all living beings. Think of it as the spiritual equivalent of composting. Every choice you make can nourish or deplete the ecosystem, both literal and metaphorical. The Rede doesn't shy away from complexity. Harm none sounds very straightforward, but life is not always that simple. What if helping one person inadvertently harms another? What if standing up for yourself causes someone else discomfort? These aren't easy questions, but Wicca embraces the nuance. The Rede challenges practitioners to weigh their intentions, understand potential outcomes, and take responsibility for their choices, words and actions. It's a timeless call to live with intention and empathy, a principle that might just make the world a little more magical. But let's go even deeper for a moment. And it harm none. Seems pretty straightforward, don't hurt anyone. But defining harm isn't as easy as it sounds. After all, what kind of harm are we talking about? Physical? Emotional? Spiritual? For Wiccans, harm isn't just about avoiding physical damage. It's about considering that ripple effect of your actions we spoke about, on people, animals, nature, and even the spiritual world. Harm isn't always obvious. Even the best intentions can lead to unintended consequences. In practice, this often means asking yourself, will my actions cause harm to anyone or anything? And if the answer is a little murky, it might be a sign to pause and consider a different approach. After all, being a good witch is a lot like being a good roommate. You're constantly navigating shared space, resources, and the occasional passive-aggressive sticky note. Now, let's tackle the do what ye will part. This is the part that tends to raise some eyebrows, especially since it's often confused with Aleister Crowley's infamous line, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." But while Crowley's philosophy focused on individual power and will, the Wiccan Rede is all about freedom in harmony with the world around you. It's not do whatever you want and hope for the best. It's more like, do what aligns with your true self, but don't be a jerk about it. Within Wicca, will isn't just about personal desires or whims. It's about understanding your place in the grand scheme of things and aligning your actions with your higher purpose. Think of it as cosmic adulting. You have the freedom to make your own choices, but you're also responsible for the consequences, kind of like buying your first houseplant and realizing, 2 weeks later, that it probably needs water to survive. The Rede encourages self-awareness and mindfulness, not just in rituals, but in everyday life. Wiccans strive to live authentically and responsibly, knowing that each choice carries weight. And while there's no Wiccan police handing out citations for moral slip-ups, the Rede is a personal commitment, a kind of spiritual post-it note that says, hey, think this through before you light that candle. Alright, let's dive into the Wiccan Rede, the complete version. We've looked at an it harm none, do what ye will, but that's the closing line, just the tip of the broomstick. The full read is an enchanting tapestry of wisdom, tradition, and a little sprinkle of poetic flair. Here it is in all its glory, so grab your grimoire or just your morning coffee.
By the Wiccan laws we must, in perfect love and perfect trust, live and let live. Fairly take and fairly give. Cast the circle thrice about to keep the evil spirits out. To bind the spell every time, let the spell be spake in rhyme. Soft of eye and light of touch, speak little, listen much. The Osil go by the waxing moon, chanting out the witch's rune. Widdershins go by the waning moon, chanting out the baneful rune. When the lady's moon is new, kiss the hand to her, ×2. When the moon rides at her peak, then your heart's desire seek. Heed the north wind's mighty gale, lock the door and drop the sail. When the wind comes from the south, love will kiss thee on the mouth. When the wind blows from the west, departed souls will have no rest. When the wind blows from the east, expect the new and set the feast. 9 woods in the cauldron go, burn them fast and burn them slow. Elder be the lady's tree, burn it not or cursed you'll be. When the wheel begins to turn, let the beltane fires burn. When the wheel has turned to Yule, light the log and the horned one rules. Heed ye flower, bush and tree, by the lady, blessed be. Where the rippling waters go, cast a stone and truth you'll know. When ye have a true need, hearken not to others' greed. With a fool no season spend, lest ye be counted as his friend. Merry meet and merry part, bright the cheeks and warm the heart. Mind the threefold law you should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. When misfortune is enow, wear the blue star on thy brow. True in love ever be, lest thy lovers false to thee. 8 words the Wiccan read fulfill, and ye harm none, do what ye will.
Beautiful, isn't it? Now, let's unpack it. The read reads like a mystical checklist for mindful living. It's part poetic guide, part cosmic to-do list, and entirely about balance. Take the opening, in perfect love and perfect trust. This isn't just a warm, fuzzy sentiment, it's the foundation for Wiccan practice. Approach your craft and your community with sincerity and an open heart, because the energy you bring is the energy you'll receive. Or how about live and let live? Fairly take and fairly give. It's basically the golden rule but with an eco-conscious twist: live harmoniously, respect others, and don't hog all the resources. Then there's the magical logistics: cast the circle thrice about to keep the evil spirits out. Think of it as setting up your Wi-Fi with a solid password, but instead of keeping out hackers, you're blocking spiritual spam. To bind the spell every time, let the spell be spake in rhyme. This is a classic piece of magical wisdom, emphasizing the importance of rhyme and rhythm in spellwork. In Wicca, speaking in rhyme is believed to help focus energy and intention. The rhyme serves as a sort of magical glue to ensure the spell holds power and binds the intent into the universe. It's like creating a catchy tune for your desires, making them stick and reverberate through the cosmos. Soft of eye and light of touch, speak little, listen much. This line offers advice for how to conduct oneself with grace and awareness. Soft of eye suggests looking at the world with compassion and understanding, not with judgment. Light of touch refers to being gentle in both your physical interactions and emotional connections. Speak little, listen much is a reminder to practice mindfulness and patience. Often, the most profound insights come when we stop talking and start truly listening. It's the Wiccan version of the old adage, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And let's not forget the celestial choreography: Diosil go by the waxing moon, Widdershins by the waning moon. Now, what does that mean? Well, Diosil is the term for moving clockwise, in harmony with the flow of the universe. Think of it like dancing with the moon's energy. You perform actions under the waxing moon, when it's getting bigger, to encourage growth, manifestation, or new beginnings. On the flip side, Widdershins refers to moving counterclockwise, a bit like going against the grain, and it's done during the waning moon, when the moon is shrinking, to release, banish, or let go of what no longer serves you. It's like lunar time management: know when to build and when to shed, your ultimate celestial productivity hack. When the lady's moon is new, kiss the hand to her, ×2. The lady refers to the goddess, and the new moon is a time of new beginnings, reflection, and setting intentions. This line suggests showing reverence to the divine by honoring the new moon, perhaps with a simple gesture, like a kiss to your hand, to symbolize respect and connection. When the moon rides at her peak, then your heart's desire seek. When the moon is full and at its peak, it symbolizes fulfillment and power. This is the time to actively pursue your desires and goals, as the energy is at its strongest and most abundant. Heed the north wind's mighty gale, lock the door and drop the sail. The north wind, often associated with cold and challenges, suggests a time to retreat and protect yourself. It's a reminder to hunker down and be cautious, locking doors and dropping sails to avoid trouble and prepare for any storms ahead. When the wind comes from the south, love will kiss thee on the mouth. The south is traditionally linked with warmth, passion, and creativity. A wind from the south is a sign that love, affection, and perhaps even new romantic opportunities are on the horizon. When the wind blows from the west, departed souls will have no rest. The west is often linked with endings, particularly the end of the day or the cycle of life. A wind from the west signals that the spirits of the departed are restless, perhaps a time for remembrance or to pay respect to the ancestors. When the wind blows from the east, expect the new and set the feast. The east represents new beginnings, enlightenment, and the rising sun. When the wind blows from the east, it's a time of new opportunities, fresh ideas, and optimism, perfect for celebrations and new endeavors. 9 woods in the cauldron go, burn them fast and burn them slow. This refers to the use of 9 sacred woods in magical rituals, typically during a fire or cauldron ritual. It symbolizes the balance of energies. Sometimes you need quick action, sometimes slow and steady. The 9 woods are a symbol of ancient wisdom and the cycles of nature. Elder be the lady's tree, burn it not or cursed you'll be. Elder is sacred to the goddess, the lady, and in many traditions, it's considered bad luck to burn elder wood. This line serves as a cautionary reminder to respect sacred trees and the natural world. When the wheel begins to turn, let the Beltane fires burn. The wheel of the year represents the cyclical nature of the seasons. At Beltane, a spring festival celebrating fertility and growth, it's time to light fires to honor life and new beginnings. It's a joyful celebration of vitality and connection. When the wheel has turned to Yule, light the log and the horned one rules. Yule, the winter solstice, marks the rebirth of the sun. The horned one refers to the god, often represented as a stag or horned deity, whose power is strongest during this time of rebirth. Lighting a log signifies welcoming the returning light. Hiji flower, bush and tree, by the lady, blessed be. This line reminds practitioners to honor and respect nature, as the lady, the goddess, is present in all natural things. It's a simple yet powerful reminder to be in tune with the earth and its gifts. Where the rippling waters go, cast a stone and truth you'll know. Water symbolizes flow, intuition, and emotion. Casting a stone into the rippling water can symbolize the clarity you gain when you seek truth or answers, much like throwing a pebble into a pond and waiting for the ripples to settle to find clarity. When ye have a true need, hearken not to others' greed. This line warns against letting others' desires and greed influence your own needs. Stay true to your own path and don't be swayed by materialism or selfishness. With a fool no season spend, lest ye be counted as his friend. This is a reminder to avoid spending time with those who are foolish or toxic. Surround yourself with people who lift you up and support your growth, not those who bring negativity or chaos into your life. Merry meet and merry part, bright the cheeks and warm the heart. A Wiccan greeting and farewell, wishing happiness and warmth in all interactions. It's a reminder to meet others with kindness and part with gratitude and positivity. Mind the threefold law you should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. This is the Wiccan version of the law of return, which states that whatever energy you send out into the world, good or bad, will return to you threefold. So be mindful of your actions, as they come back to you stronger than you might expect. When misfortune is enow, wear the blue star on thy brow. The blue star is a symbol of protection. This line suggests that when you are facing misfortune, you should wear the blue star to protect yourself from negativity or harm, invoking strength and guidance from the divine. True in love ever be, lest thy love is false to thee. This emphasizes the importance of loyalty and honesty in love. Be true to your partner, or you risk betrayal or heartbreak. But the heart of it all? The last line, and ye harm none, do what ye will. It's freedom with responsibility, autonomy with accountability. You can do your thing, cast your spells, live your dreams, as long as you're not causing harm. It's like having a spiritual driver's license. The Rede is more than words, it's a way of life. A poetic reminder to tread lightly, live joyfully, and always consider the ripples you send into the universe. Merry meet, merry part, and may the Rede guide you well. Unlike religious commandments etched in stone, the Wiccan Rede is more like a poetic guideline. It's about embracing the spirit of the law, rather than following it to the letter. Think of it as a traffic sign that reads, proceed with caution, and don't honk at pedestrians. There's room for interpretation, adaptation, and, occasionally, the realization that even witches make mistakes. At coven gatherings, debates about what constitutes harm can get pretty lively. After all, harm isn't always clear-cut, it can be emotional, spiritual, or even indirect. What if a well-intentioned love spell messes with someone's free will? What if helping one person inadvertently causes difficulty for another? These are the kinds of ethical puzzles that practitioners are encouraged to explore. The Rede isn't about striving for moral perfection or avoiding every possible mistake. It's about embracing the journey, reflecting on your choices, and learning from your experiences. In that sense, it serves as a compass, not a rigid rulebook, guiding practitioners towards a path of wisdom, compassion, and, hopefully, fewer accidental hexes. The influence of the Wiccan Rede extends beyond rituals and spells, it's woven into the everyday lives of practitioners. Whether it's how they interact with nature, support their communities, or simply treat those around them, and it harm none becomes a guiding principle for mindful and compassionate living. For some, this means living sustainably, volunteering to help others, or making small, conscious choices that align with their values. It's not about grand gestures, it's about cultivating kindness and respect in everyday interactions. Being a good Wiccan isn't just about knowing your herbs and crystals, it's about being a decent human being. The Rede encourages practitioners to find a sense of inner peace and balance. It's a reminder that the magic we create isn't just in the spells we cast, it's in the way we speak, the choices we make, and the kindness we show. In this way, the Rede serves not only as a spiritual guideline, but as a reminder that we all have the power to make the world a little better. The Wiccan Rede isn't just a guiding principle for witches, it resonates with teachings from spiritual traditions around the world. The Golden Rule of Christianity, the principle of ahimsa in Hinduism and Buddhism, and the idea of do no harm in various indigenous beliefs all echo the Rede's message. These shared values remind us that, despite our differences, we're all striving towards a common goal, a more compassionate, connected world. For modern Wiccans, the Rede serves as both a personal guide and a bridge to other traditions. It's an invitation to live authentically, seek wisdom, and honor the sacredness of life. And in a world that often feels divided, the simple wisdom of the Rede, and it harm none, do what ye will, offers a path towards understanding, both of ourselves and each other. The Wiccan Rede isn't just a set of rules, it's a call to mindfulness, responsibility, and compassion. It's a reminder that the choices we make shape not only our own paths but the world around us. And in that sense, the Rede isn't just a golden rule of witchcraft, it's a golden rule for living.